I want to make a pink ribbon pumpkin, so I start with air dry clay straight from the package. I removed enough to make 2 clumps that I could work into pinch pots. I used this burlap mat that I made from burlap ribbon I found at the Dollar Tree by simply gluing the strips together. I was taught to work with clay on burlap. It absorbs some moisture from the clay, and the clay won't stick to it like it would newspaper. And I pound the clay to make it easier to work with. So to make a pinch pot, you get a ball of clay, and this isn't as wet as it was before. I don't know. But you take your thumb and you would press down into your clay, not all the way, but just enough to where you're not pushing all the way through, and then you just like work your way around, and then you can use 2 fingers, and if it starts to crack up, that's okay, you just rub it out. If your clay is super dry, then you would take some water and rub around to rehydrate it. Just work your way around, and you can kind of pound like that. You don't want the lip to be super thin, because we're going to make 2 spheres and we're going to join them together, 2 half spheres. Once my first one was complete, I moved on to the second mound of clay using the same pinch pot method, trying to work my way around with my thumb and push the clay from the bottom out and not have my sides be too thin. The clay was a bit too wet, so I had to set it aside to let it dry. Okay, I think these have set up enough. They're not as wet as they were. And it's about a palm size. I didn't initially set out to be a palm size, but that's fine. These 2 will be able to be joined together, because you need to have your half spheres be a similar size. And you know, it's not going to be perfect, but you can like kind of squeeze them together. So now I'm going to go ahead and do my scoring, and you can do scoring with any sharp surface, your fingernail, piece of plastic, fork, and it's just like a crisscross scratching up pattern to rough up your clay. You have to score to have a good bond. You can't join together 2 smooth pieces of clay. It's not going to work. Your project is just going to fall apart. So the way that I was taught was just to make little X's. Take my slip, which is a combination. I just made it's a little bit of clay and water mixed together that you let sit, stir it up, and this is your cement that will help your project be glued together. Okay, so let's see. Kind of looks like a clam. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm gonna try to just, like this little area here, just smooth with your finger to try to get, and kind of smush them in to get your top and your bottom joined together. And then also, got another crack there. What you can do is score this outside, and then take a piece of coiled clay, which I may do if I can't get this smoothed out, and that acts like just a little bit of added glue and support to make sure that your pieces are joined together. Okay, I'm gonna work my way around the rest of this, wetting and smoothing, and I'll do that off camera. Okay, so I have gotten the joined area about as smooth as I think I'm gonna get it, just working it with the tool and some water in my finger. So I'm gonna take a thin piece of coil and add it, especially to this area that has me kind of worried. So first I'm gonna go ahead and score this area so that the coil can be joined. And the coil is just a piece of clay that you roll. Use your palm and roll it. I don't want it to be too thick so that it really stands out. I want it to just mend this area so that it looks like one complete circle, or in this case, the pumpkin that I'm wanting to make. So I think, let's see how long that's about long enough. And let's score this area of the coil that's gonna be sitting there and smoothed in. Add some slip. Coil has to be soft, moist clay. It can't be clay that's gotten hard and starting to crack, because you won't be able to work with it easily. It's just gonna crumble up. It needs to be soft clay that can really be worked and smoothed down. And I'm gonna go ahead and puncture a hole in the bottom, so when I press down to really give it the pumpkin shape and add my stem, that the whole thing just doesn't fall apart from, you know, air. I don't want the seams to burst open with air. Okay, so I want to make my lines for my pumpkin. And let's start with this narrow end and see how this looks. Okay. And I'm gonna press down to kind of make the top sink in the way a pumpkin is, and then I'll make a stem. And just rock it back and forth. Okay, and so for my stem, I'm going to use the same technique I used to make the coil. And I think maybe a little leaf. And finally, I want to add a ribbon to the front of this pumpkin, and this will be made using the coil method. We'll just roll it out and attach it using the score and slip method to the front of the pumpkin. About a day and a half and the pumpkin is completely dry now. So I want to go ahead and paint this, and I'm going to use some of the paint that came in the Art Skills kit, the green here for the leaf. I used a combination of their red and some apple barrel white to make a pink for my ribbon, and I think I'm going to use khaki for the stem, and then for the body of the pumpkin I'm going to make it white so that the pink ribbon really stands out. And with the bit of clay I had when I was finished making this, I made this little guy as a companion, and I think maybe I will make him green. My pink ribbon pumpkin all painted. I really love it. I'm going to continue to work with the air dry clay, and each project will get better and better, but I was so happy with the way this turned out that I decided to make another large one. This one kind of is like a gourd type, and I decided to do this one in a matte black with the gold stem. I really love that. And with a little excess, I made this small one that I chose to do in pink and put a little gold accent on there, and then my little green with my jot pink stickers. I made another little ribbon. Really love how all of these turned out.